G'day all, welcome back to Cavalier's Workbench. This is the first video of the Destroid Spartan build. This is the 1/72 scale kit from BanDai. This was released, I think it was 2 years ago, or was it last year? Well, 12 months ago anyhow, and was discontinued shortly thereafter. So what I've done so far is I've actually progressed onto a leg and an arm quite a bit. This kit you have to build in modules. Even though the instructions show in one step you put the entire arm together, or in another step you put the entire leg together, you actually have to build half the leg, let it dry, correct it, come back, do the rest of the leg, let it dry, correct it, etc. So I'll show you. Here's part of. Looks like I didn't do it properly. Oh no, sorry, yes I did. Okay. First off, I'll begin with the arm. Now you've got. Start off with the fingers. The fingers are 4 pieces. 2 pieces make up the primary fingers, and another 2 pieces make up the thumb. Overall, as long as you use glue on both surfaces, push them together firmly and squeeze the plastic through, there's not much in the way of clean up. There is a few alignment issues where if you try to focus on one side, making sure that the pieces match up flat, the other side is going to have a bit of a lip to it. There's not much, it's just enough to annoy you. So that's the fingers. They glue onto a 2-piece rest of the hand, like this could be the palm, etc. And same problem you've got. In my case, I've got, I think it's due to the glue more than anything, where it joins is actually melted in and created a little gully, or valley if you like, in the join. So you are going to need putty putting this kit together. It's not a puttyless build or model. Not compared to, say, some of Wave's kits and fine mold kits. If you've been building some fine mold kits like the Star Wars kits, the Star Wars kits go together in fine molds virtually without any need for putty to correct seams, because the seams are all hidden or a nice alignment, well engineered. Okay, so here's another part of the arm. I believe this is part of the shoulder to elbow joint. This part here goes into the shoulder, and this part joins onto the elbow. Same problem, you're going to have a bit of alignment issues. There's not much of a step so far that I've found in the piece that I have completed. I was able to putty over and sand it flat. So this is basically the modules I was talking about. To do this arm, you've got to do this piece, then you glue 2 pieces over that join there. And from what I learnt from building BanDai kits, you really do need to do one part, let it dry, putty it, let that dry, sand it, then move on to the next part. So that's dry. I'm going to have to putty it later on. I'll show you how much putty I actually will be using. Okay, I have completed one entire arm. This is all built except for, this is the shoulder joint here. It's 2 parts. There's the shoulder joint that actually allows you to hold the shoulder in so it pivots. Do it like that. Oops. Okay, and here's the hand put together. You probably can't see it too clearly in the camera. There's very little putty there. The putty that you can see, especially on the fingers, is some of the alignment issues I was talking about earlier. Oh, there's some more there. So you get some slight dimples in the plastic that you have to put up with. This is the forearm. There is a bit of a step there. It's not much. A bit of putty over top of it, and sand it flat, which should be okay. When you're sanding it, I recommend using a stiff metal file. That way you can get a flat profile overall. Looking sideways at this one, or front on, there is a bit of a drop between one side to the other side that's going to cause me a few issues when I go to sand it. I could end up having one side fatter or higher, don't know yet. There's a lot of articulation in here still, so you've got your forearm moves, the shoulder joint moves onto an elbow joint, but that moves like that, so give you an idea. And this is the left hand, I should be careful here. Your wrist turns around. You have to be careful. I didn't do it on mine. When you glue on these two parts together, because this still moves, twist it around, you got to be careful how where you put the glue. I didn't glue all the way down into this area here, because I allow the glue to seep out and to help reduce the amount of putty I need. Sometimes that will glue the hand in spot and you can't turn it otherwise. Other times it will tighten it up for you as well, so I'd rather go err on the side of caution and not apply it in there, just in case it does glue it together. So that's your arm together. So you're looking about, it is clean up 5 minutes to clean, cut it off the sprue, clean it up, put together for each little segment. Not in that, you probably do it a lot faster, but when you start looking at glue one part, correct it, glue the next part on, correct it, you're going to spend a lot of time. Unlike the wave kit which I've done elsewhere, wave kit almost went together in one night. I just had to slow down, allow the glue to dry, in certain areas, but otherwise the wave kit goes together. Because it's all modular and hides all the seams, you can get away with doing it all in one night, but this kit is not a overnight job. This is the leg. Now this is a completed leg. What you start off with is part of the ankle, heel and toe. This is the heel here, this part here. I call this the ankle here, this little ring, and part of the forefoot or the toe if you like. There's another part that goes on the front of this part here. This you put together in one go, and once again you can see that I've got glue coming out. Due to the lack of surface detail on some of the joints, you can put the putty on as thick as you like, sand it back, and you're not going to lose much in the way of detail. The only problem I do have is on the bottom of the toe and feet, there's this really weird, I'd say it's a moulding issue. There's this little square, and it's on both sides of the part, so it looks to be more of a moulding issue. That when you glue it together, if you try to putty in there, I do it all the time on other kits, focus so much on sanding away the putty that I should create another ridge that I have to putty. So just be careful when you're filling in that area there. This is the hip joint. There's three parts there. This part here is a lug that glues inside, provides a bit of sideways movement. Okay, and the finished leg. So there's actually 3 stages to this leg. You got the toe that you saw before. The hip joint is at the top here. Then you have to glue this top articulation here together to the hip joint. You can then at the same time glue the front toe onto this part here. Then let it set. come back, putty it, then move on to the final part, which is this part here, these two parts, and it holds it all together. I do have a problem here where this part here, the foot, the front of the foot, is very, very loose, whereas the other joints are fairly stiff, so any weight goes on that, she's going to fall apart. So I'm hoping that when I prime this, the prime will seep into here and stiffen up the joints a bit, so I'm hoping that will happen a bit later on. Okay, this opening here that you're seeing is actually a clear transparency goes in there, so that will be put on later on in the kit.